Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Hey there, fellow true crime aficionados. We're the host of Bad Acts, a true crime podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Aaron.
Join us every Thursday for twisted true crime tales of dark deeds and despicable people. We focus on lesser-known, unique stories with a new case each week. We've covered family annihilators, cannibals, revenge killings, killer kids, mysterious murders, survivor stories, and much more. We've even tackled stories of people who blamed zombies, vampires, ghosts, and voodoo for their bad acts.
Of course, we know they're the only ones to blame. You can find us everywhere you get your podcast, or you can visit our website at badaxpod.com.
If you like fresh stories and new perspectives on crime, Bad Acts will be your new jam. Join Bad Acts every Thursday. Stay safe, y'all.
See you soon.
Hey, Twisted listeners. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Diva.
And this is Twisted Listeners, a podcast about murder
and lists.
And we're brought to you by the Podmoth Podcasting Network. They're amazing. Check out all the other shows. And thanks everybody who's been listening. Our downloads have gone way up. Our listens
doing good.
Up. Yeah, we're kicking.
Yeah.
Booty. It's awesome. Feel fucking cool. Yeah, we love and appreciate you all. Thanks to all our patrons. We have a new Patreon out that I worked really hard on. So if you guys want to listen to it. Also, I just said hard on.
Ooh, that was like a good like Beavis and Butthead like laugh.
It was. I'm so 12. I love it. Anyway, I worked for a long time on this Patreon, and I'm very proud of it. So if you guys want to join us, there's the murder map. There's lots of extra content, and yeah, we would appreciate that. If you want to like, rate, review, that's also greatly appreciated. We're getting a lot more reviews. We thank you. And what else? Is there anything we need to say today?
No, very tired. Ready to talk about a really fucked up thing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I don't have anything cool to report. Sometimes I'm like, we need more banter at the beginning, but like
banter.
I feel like our lives are just too goddamn boring. Like I'm like, I can't.
I mean, in reality, they're probably very interesting, but like, you know, we just can't think of anything off the fly, like casual, like, you know, we'll sprinkle it in throughout.
If anybody wants to know about 7-year-old baseball, I could enthrall you with that. But aside from that, that's about it. Just working and doing the kid thing. So, and researching murder, which is our creative outlet. So,
and I've been taking care of my mom's dog. And I told Cindy today that I had to pick up poop, and it was traumatic. That was my big event of the day. I really love this dog, but I also do not love dog ownership as a practice. It's not for me.
You just got to get a pooper scooper so that you don't have to touch it.
I'm going to get one. I'm going to gift my mom one, and I will never have to pick up poop with my hand again.
Yes. So. Yeah. It's really disgusting. Like picking up warm poop, like with the only barrier being like a thin piece of plastic. Yeah. It's just like,
it's unacceptable.
It's not. It's not. And it's like you go wash your hands because you're like, I don't care that there was a plastic bag between.
No,
like,
I did. I washed my bags like twice, and I was like, I still feel like I got poop on my hands. Like,
yeah, I know. It's a thing.
The cat litter boxes are so civilized, honestly.
I don't know if I agree with that. I find it really strange that an animal goes and just like shits in a bunch of sand. Like that whole thing is just
very
weird
civilized. It covers it up. It neutralizes the scent. You know, they bury it like civilized creatures.
Yeah, I guess. It's weird. My dog doesn't kick after he goes to the bathroom. I think dogs have kind of like evolved out of that. They're just like lazy assholes now that expect us to pick up after them.
Yeah, you pick this up.
Yeah, little fucking jerks. Anyway, this is part 2 of Killer Couples.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and I think I told everybody last time that I'm doing almost like a subtopic in that both of my cases are inspired by Natural Born Killers, the movie. So obviously I'm covering a bunch of fucking dorks, a bunch of immature idiots who like think that they want to be like those characters, which is kind of sad to me. And definitely shitty because of the stories. So we have a topic and I have a subtopic that I randomly did. So that's
perfect.
Good little time. And I went first last time, so you're going first, right?
Yeah, I think so. And
all right,
I guess my sub theme is killer couples with overtly like Valentine like nicknames, because these are the love slave killers, which I also think is a wildly inappropriate name.
That's that's a terrible name, because I feel like there's no love actually involved in this. I have a strong feeling that that's a misnomer.
Yeah. So this is Gerald and Charlene Gallego. Again, the love slave killers, the sex slave killers, which is definitely more appropriate than love slave killers, but it's not even appropriate since they didn't really keep sex slaves. Like, so it's kind of all bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a much lesser known serial killing couple, and I feel like that's strange.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I knew that they were serial killers. So
yeah, it is very strange that, again, sometimes they fly under the radar. Also, because of the place and time, there was just so much serial killing that like some of them just didn't, get blow up as much, because this happened in Sacramento from 1978 to 1980.
Oh yeah, we talked about whether or not I should do this one. Yeah, because I do love a good NorCal Sacto case. But I remember I basically was like, you have to do it. And if you don't, then I will. So
here we are. Yeah. We're in Sacramento in the golden age of serial killers, right in that sweet spot, late 70s.
Yep.
So Gerald was originally from Chico. He had a really bad childhood with a really abusive father. And fun fact, his father had actually escaped from prison by taking a prison guard hostage, then murdered the guard, and then was subsequently convicted and executed in the gas chamber for that murder.
Holy shit.
So that's his dad. All that's in little Gerald's childhood. Yeah. He and his brother were like just teenage delinquents and did tons of like petty crimes and thefts and stuff. They were arrested tons of times as teenagers. And Gerald was pretty much a pedophile piece of shit very early on. At age 13, he molested a 6-year-old girl.
Oh, goodness. No.
Really early start. No. Yeah.
That's fucked up. Also, for people who don't know, Chico is in like true northern central California, like the center of California, but north. And it's like known for being like one of the hardest partying college towns in the state. And it's fucking gnarly. I lived there for a summer. It was hot. It was dry. It was boring. It's terrible. So there you go.
Thank you for Chico Corner. Yeah.
Yes.
So Gerald was married 7 times in total. From what I can tell, just like back to back to back to back. Basically 7 times by the time he's 30.
Does he even divorce them? Does he actually have time to do that?
I don't know how many actually got divorced from them. I think he's just getting married like whoop, 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 whoop.
Right.
He with one of these women at some point, he had a daughter with whom he was actually convicted against whom I should say he was actually convicted of molesting from when she was 6 to 14.
Jesus fuck, dude.
Years. Yeah.
Your own daughter. That's always like an extra level to me of like fucked.
Yeah, and I won't go into the details, but suffice to say they exist, and they are like really horrific assaults of his daughter.
God, yeah. Thank you for sparing us. That's fucked up.
That's all that needs to be said. Right. Really bad. Not that it's ever good, but like they are really bad.
There are levels. Like it's a million, but there is a difference too. Like
it's like extremely insanely horrible or extremely insanely horrible.
Right. Ugh.
He also beat her severely as well, so he was physically abusive to his daughter. So Charlene, our other couple person here, was originally from Stockton, kind of South Bay Area, but like not even really close to any water, just like beige and just
hopeless.
Fields.
It's
hopeless fields. Hopeless fields of beige. Yeah.
Stockton. Sorry, like, Stockton listeners.
That's the Stockton motto. Like beneath them.
It's funny, like beneath the what? Like
beneath the hopeless fields of beige. Yeah.
I feel like people think of California as like Los Angeles and San Francisco and maybe like a little San Diego. Sure. California is huge, and a lot of it is just like
beige,
podunk, middle of nowhere, farm town beige. Yeah, with
I just see a blur of like that beige grass in my head.
I have driven the length of the state more times than I could possibly count, and it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Like above Reading, it's green and beautiful, but also like terrifying. Like,
and all those track homes, also in beige places, they tend to have track homes where it's like suburban houses where it's all tones of beige, so it just all blends in.
Stucco everywhere.
Yeah, stucco.
Anyway, sorry guys. Right. I love our state, but also beige.
Stockton. We should have a separate Patreon where we just shit talk on different cities in California. Okay.
I'd be so good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Charlene was from Stockton. She had a more normal background by all accounts, like nothing super dramatic, although her parents were hoarders, which is interesting. Definitely some trauma in terms of just living.
Yeah, that's fairly traumatic. Like hoarder homes are pretty fucked up.
So there was definitely something going on there. And honestly, maybe there were big things, but they weren't widely reported on.
Okay. But comparatively, she was more normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And came from kind of a middle class-ish background too, like not like super poor or anything. Okay. Charlene did have issues with guys, however, clearly, because she had 2 failed marriages by age 20.
Oof. Wow.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
I want you to love me.
Yes, got some guy issues. And at age 20, she met Gerald, of course, our real winner here, who at that time was age 30. I cannot shit talk on their age difference because I have a 13-year-old older than me husband, so I cannot really judge. But obviously, there's a power dynamic here where she's like pretty naive and he's manipulative.
Right.
Gerald also, by the way, was still married to at least one, probably more of those wives when they got married.
Multiple other wives.
And when Charlene met Gerald, they married only a few months later because we know Gerald, he doesn't waste any time.
Yeah.
Let's just come on.
Yep.
And they moved to beautiful beige Reno, Nevada. So keeping it beige.
Yeah. Reno. Okay, listen. Sorry, guys. We keep getting sidetracked. I have never seen, by and large, uglier people in my whole life. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be real. I had a friend that lived in Reno, and every time I went there, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on?
Something.
Goddamn. Okay. Continue. Right. I apologize.
That's okay.
I just had
Reno moment.
I feel like we're all close enough now, listeners, that, like I can be a little bit more real.
Okay. Keeping it real.
Hideous there. Okay.
So they moved to Reno, and about a year after they met and, instantly married, they're in Reno and they start murdering women. And how this came about is that Gerald kind of pitches it as he's having issues in the bedroom. Like he's not getting excited by Charlene anymore, / he's having issues with bedroom success, right? Mm-hmm. He first proposed abducting women and holding them captive as quote unquote sex slaves, which is also like a weird term because sex slave, because there's no like sex implies it's like normal.
Yeah.
Like, rape victim captives might be better.
Rapists, kidnappers.
Yeah. But Charlene's like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. And it's often framed as like, I don't like the way some documentaries have framed it because it's like, well, Gerald, had issues performing in the bedroom, so this is what he wanted to do. And I'm like, no, don't make it sound so logical. I think it was actually because he was a pedophile and a rapist and he wanted to do murders and rapes. Like,
yeah, this isn't like a fix for something. This isn't like, you don't present this as like a logical answer to anything, because that's not what it is. He
might have used that as like a way to justify it to Charlene, but like in his head, that is not the reason why. Like, I do not think so. So here we go. And Charlene, basically their MO is always going to be Charlene uses the fact that she's a lady and she's less threatening to lure the girls away. She always goes and even picks them out sometimes, or he picks them out and she lures them over.
Wow. Okay.
So very active role here. So I'm going to go through a bunch of horrific murders. Are you ready? They're all horrible.
Yeah, that's a great way to get me preface this so that I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So 1978, 16-year-old Kippy, they're all like children, by the way, as well.
Oh, thanks. That's great.
Yeah. So 1978, 16-year-old Kippy Vaught and 17-year-old Rhonda Scheffler were the first victims of the couple. Charlene lured the 2 girls away, as she always did. And Gerald had a van, by the way, perfect for a serial killer at this time.
Yeah. The 70s serial killer van.
Yes. And they got into the van under the premise of we're going to smoke weed. So it seems like it's a single girl with weed, right? And then all of a sudden there's this guy. So he abducts them at gunpoint. They're in a van. You know what? Fucking, they're fucked. Yeah. No choice in the matter there. And Charlene would drive around. This is also their MO. Very, very toolbox killers. Charlene would drive around while Gerald sexually assaulted them in the back of the van.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the toolbox gentleman.
Just like,
Yeah. And after this horrifying ordeal, drive around, they were taken to Baxter, which I guess is a rural little city in the area. Okay. And Gerald shot them both in the head.
Okay.
So their murder evenings usually end with they go to a rural area and shoot them in the head.
Okay. So that's their like MO. That's their thing.
And they just sort of leave them there. Yeah. Okay. That's it. So, okay. 1979. They abducted 13 and 14-year-old friends, Brenda Judd and Sandra Colley, from the Washoe County Fair in Reno. So these are literally a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old at a fucking fair.
Wow. That's so fucked.
Yeah. Ugh. And Gerald, again, assaulted them in the van. Same MO, copy and paste. He actually bludgeoned them to death with a shovel or a hammer.
Wow.
Yeah.
A shovel?
Yeah. But they weren't dead after that beating, apparently. So he then shot them in the head, I guess.
Wow. This is like extraordinarily fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah. Their bodies, by the way, wouldn't be found for 20 years.
What?
Until they were like long since convicted. So, yeah.
But did they get convicted of these murders?
No, not of those.
Wow. Okay, but like after the fact, we know. Wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah. So the couple's next victims were 17-year-old friends Stacy Redigan and Karen Twiggs, who were abducted from a mall and killed in like copy paste the exact same way,
like beaten and then shot. God, that's so horrific.
Yeah, the way he kills them kind of varies a little bit almost each time, but they're almost always shot at the end. But sometimes he makes it like torturous first,
right?
You know?
And there's always sexual assault and rape.
Yes.
Okay.
At some point, I'm like, did I get down when they actually move to Sacramento? I don't know if I tracked that. At some point, they go to fucking Sacramento.
Okay.
That might be folded in here somewhere, but if not, note that 70s. At some point, they go to Sacramento. This one's really bad. They abduct 20-year-old Laura Aguilar, who's pregnant.
Oof. Jesus.
Yeah, she was abducted by the couple when she was hitchhiking.
God damn.
And this was actually in Oregon. So they traveled a little bit as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. So she's hitchhiking in Oregon. They're just looking for victims? Like they're just
Oregon's
not super close to Sacramento. Like that's at least 6 hours to the border.
They were having a murder road trip. Yeah, I don't know why they were in Oregon. So they were like doing a murder road trip at some point.
Yeah, that's crazy. But okay.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know of that's not right in the like Sacramento area or in Reno.
Okay.
So Laura Aguilar was assaulted and strangled to death with a cord. And her body was found dumped along the Oregon coast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I said dumped, but in fact, she was actually buried alive in sand.
Oh my fucking God, dude. What the fuck?
So she was like strangled with the cord, I guess, but not to death.
Jesus Christ. And so they just finished it by burying her alive?
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. That's fucked up.
Yeah. 31-year-old Virginia Mochel was their next victim. She was abducted, assaulted, and then strangled to death, and her body was found bound in fishing line on the shore of the Sacramento Delta.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're up to like 9 or 8. Victims 9 and 10 here are Craig Miller and his girlfriend Mary Beth Sowers.
Oh, a dude.
Yeah, a couple. So only couple. So they disappeared after going to a fraternity party, and witnesses reported seeing them in a strange van. Like they kind of were spotted in the getaway moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the van was able to be identified. And it was traced back to the father of 23-year-old Charlene Gallego, who's 23 this time.
Mm-hmm.
They find Charlene, and Charlene is pregnant, by the way, herself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she shows them the van. She's like, hey. But she's sort of cagey and kind of brief with them. And she says, I'm pregnant, so I'm not feeling well. And that's her way of like ending the questioning. So she kind of talks to police for like a minute. And then she's like, shut up, I'm pregnant.
Kindly fuck off. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I really want to do a list someday that's murderers who were pregnant while they were murdered.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. So like it happens. We got Charlene here, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely not that uncommon, weirdly.
No.
Like I can think of cases where that's definitely happened.
Definitely happens, yeah. You know, you got your hormones like all crazy, you're hormonal. So Craig was later found, by the way, on the side of a rural road. He had been shot several times in the head. Mm-hmm. And I will get to exactly what happened to them in a moment here. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of doing this in a roundabout way. Okay. So because this murder is how they're caught, essentially. Because police, again, are onto them because of the van. And eventually they are able to be arrested because they kind of escape. They're like, oh, we need to talk to you. And they're nowhere to be fucking found, right? But then they find them because Charlene's parents had been wiring her money. Okay. And so they just go stake out the place where she's going to get the money. Right. And they fucking scoop them up.
Okay. So they are kind of, at this point, they are like wanted. Kind of.
But just for Craig and Mary Beth.
Okay. Not for everyone.
Yeah. That's what they actually have evidence against them for.
Okay.
So they questioned the couple about like, where the fuck is Mary Beth, right? Because she's still technically missing. They found Craig's body.
Right.
But they were not talking at all. And they don't talk at first. And eventually, Mary Beth's body is found in a ditch. She had been shot and all the rest, sexually assaulted, et cetera, et cetera.
The whole shebang. Yeah.
Yes. Eventually, they just sit in jail, basically, as the people on the line for this. But about a year after their arrest, Charlene just decides to fucking talk.
Wow. So she's already had her baby at that point, too, and like probably had it taken from her.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think her baby is raised by her family.
God, I'd hope so. Not like the fucking murderer dad guy, you know, like his family's probably not, you know.
Oh, right. No, not Gerald's family. Yeah.
Not really any of them, I don't think, around.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So Charlene explains what happened to Craig and Mary Beth. She says that they went to a local shopping center just prowling for, people to abduct and murder.
Right.
They abducted Craig and Mary Beth at gunpoint in a parking lot, just like get in the fucking van.
Yeah.
They quickly shot and killed Craig and threw his body on the side of the road. And then, poor Mary Beth is there fucking seeing this shit, horrified. And they then took her back to their house where Gerald kept her and sexually assaulted her repeatedly. Yeah. And by the way, this is the only case where you could say someone's like in a quote unquote slave scenario. And the other ones, it's all in the van, really.
Right. But this is, of course, the media trying to like hype it up and make it like a thing by being like, look, they had sex slaves. And it's like they had one person, which is not like, okay, it's fucked up.
Right. But it's not like they had dungeons or like, it's not like a cliche case where you see that used,
Right. But this does show that they are, what's it called? Like, they're like getting worse as they go. What the fuck is that called?
For sure. Escalating.
God damn, thank you. It's been a long day. Because like now they're abducting women like with men and just like getting rid of the men. Like they're not worried about that. Like they're just
and I think this abduction was more brazen too. They didn't lure them. It was more brazen.
More just like get in the fucking van.
Yeah. By the way, I found this detail in like court records for a later appeal, and I had to include it because it's like one of the grossest things I've ever heard. This is according to Charlene. Before Gerald assaulted Mary Beth, he said that, quote, in some fashion, that she was going to be his, quote, Mary Ellen tonight. You're going to be my Mary Ellen tonight. Mary Ellen's the name of his daughter.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He probably said that all the time too. That's probably like his cool line that he said, like.
Yeah, so fucking cool. What the motherfuck, dude?
This guy is so disgusting.
This guy is like next fucking level. God damn, dude. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. And Mary Beth, Mary Ellen too. That's like this weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the next day, they basically, she was there for a whole night, and the next day they took her to a wooded area where she was later, where she was shot in the head. So. Right after that, by the way, the couple went and got donuts.
Yeah, makes you hungry doing all this horrible shit.
So prosecutors basically decided to cut a deal with Charlene in exchange for her spilling all the details of their whole murder spree. And she does. She's like, all right, sweet. And she takes detectives on a tour of the various sites where the bodies were found. I think she does lead police to some of the bodies as well, perhaps. I didn't go one for one here, but she basically takes them on a tour.
It's interesting that 2 of the bodies weren't found for 20 years. I wonder if they tried to find them but couldn't find them, or she just conveniently skipped them. It sounds to me like perhaps she had admitted that happened, but wasn't able to locate the bodies or something.
Yeah, I know she fessed up to all of them.
Okay,
but I think that the bodies came later for some.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She kind of distances herself from things, of course. She claims that she didn't know Gerald would kill the girls. Really,
after that works once.
Yes, that literally works the first time, but not the other times.
No.
But she also says that she was afraid of him, the classic thing. And she said that she kind of didn't partake in the killings at all, and didn't
in the killing. She didn't partake in the killings.
And she was, just afraid of him and just abused women. And Gerald, of course, is like, no, she was absolutely participating. She loved this. She was 100% in.
Which is obviously more correct, more real, more honest. Just come on.
Yeah. I tend to think that, just from everything I've read. But even though, according to Charlene's confessions, they basically did 10 murders, the Craig and Mary Beth murders are kind of the focus from Sacramento. And Gerald is convicted thanks to Charlene's testimony, and he actually gets the death penalty.
Well, like father, like son.
He also gets a separate death penalty for the murder of Twiggs and Redigan. For some reason, I wrote their last names, but that's fine. Stacy Redigan and Karen Twiggs. There we go.
Right.
Sure. So he has 1 death penalty in each state. His death penalty in Nevada was actually overturned on appeal in 1997.
Oh.
And or 1997 or 1999, and he qualified for another trial for Nevada. It doesn't change his death penalty in California.
But, Nevada might actually kill you. California is not going to.
That's true. But he was kind of in the middle still of all these appeals and whatnot when he died in 2002 at age 56 in prison of cancer. So.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, so none of that mattered, even though he was trying to appeal. But yeah, he had 2 death penalties. And what happened to Charlene, you may ask?
I do, because I feel like it's not going to be what it should be. I don't know.
Yeah, so as a result of that plea deal, Charlene gets essentially a sentence of 16 years in each state.
That's still... Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, although what's weird to me is that why they didn't bother charging her with any of the other crimes, the other 8.
That she openly admitted to and led them to the bodies of.
Yeah, that's a little weird, right?
Yeah, that is.
And even though that adds up to 32 years or something, she got out after not that many years. I think she served 14 years total or something, and she got out in 1997.
Wait, she served 14 years total between both 16-year sentences? So less than half total.
Yes.
That's crazy.
They basically don't want her in prison. Essentially Nevada was nah, let's just let her out early. She's fine. Everyone loves Charlene.
So she killed 8 people and got out before she was 40.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how
I think she was 40, 41 or something. Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
When you consider the people that are in prison for nonviolent drug crimes, it's a little wild. I really honestly got confused over how her sentence, how she served so little, how we got from point A of what her sentence was to she got out in 1997. I don't totally understand. I don't totally understand how that happened.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. I don't understand that at all.
But she got out in 97, and she moved back to the Sacramento area, where I believe she still is.
Oh, good. That sounds right.
People are trying to dox her to this day. And in prison, I just wanted to note that she did academic studies of psychology, business, and Icelandic literature. I just have to include that.
Field. Like,
I have to include that because that's weird.
That is so weird.
Yeah, her son that she did have with Gerald was raised by her parents. No one knows if they are cool.
Yeah.
You know. She did do an annoying interview when she was, I believe, still in prison, where she says that she was a victim as well.
They all do.
Quote, this is Charlene's quote. There were victims who died and there were victims who lived. It's taken me a hell of a long time to realize that I'm one of the ones who lived.
She should not have been let out of prison early because she's clearly not remorseful. She's a fucking sociopath or something. Like, that is not...
And in a statement I find to be even more annoying, she said that she, quote, I tried to save some of their lives, which is like, what do you mean tried?
Like,
no, you didn't.
Eat shit. You're a fucking liar. You're a fucking Karla Homolka of America.
Yeah, a little bit of a Homolka vibe, right?
Yeah, this is like shocking. And like we always say, like people should get lesser sentences, but I'm gonna go ahead and say like the exceptions to the like life in prison thing are serial killers.
Yeah,
that's gonna be that's like my line. Like if you're a serial killer, you probably shouldn't be free.
She's a lady accomplice here. Like I would be fine with her having not a life sentence, for example, but like getting out in less time than people get for like you said, drug crimes and stuff is stupid.
The whole thing is stupid.
I was watching like one of my jail like locked up shows I watched you know, for no reason.
Yeah,
because I like garbage TV, and like there was a guy in there for life for like trafficking meth, and I was like, what? Like every time I see this on TV, I'm like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, that is so stupid.
I mean, they just need slave labor, and so that's what the prison industrial complex is.
I'm sorry, if no one died, if no one was physically injured, I mean, I know drugs, like, they kill people, but if you didn't personally one-to-one do violence to someone, you should not get life.
Yeah, that's a pretty hefty sentence for anything that's not, like, violent crime or, like, sex trafficking, like, human trafficking, that kind of thing feels like... Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, so Charlene also, to be fair, did talk in that interview about how she was never free with Gerald, how he isolated her and kind of broke her down. And I do believe some of that. Like, I do think that he was controlling and manipulative, and like just in the same way that Paul Bernardo was to Karla Homolka, I'm sure. I think it was a little bit of both, you know, like I think he took advantage of her and was a shitty piece of shit to her, I'm sure, in some ways, but I think she also was a willing participant.
Yeah, so. I don't know. That's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, but that's Charlene walks among us. She's out and about. Nice? Yeah, and Gerald is dead.
Oh, so. Good. That's good, at least. All right. Well, I don't know how to feel about that. Let's just move on.
Yeah. There we go.
That's fucking crazy. All right. I am going to do my second Natural Born Killers murders. This is the story. I've done this one before. I don't think it's up anymore. And I'll just be honest, I didn't do that good of a job last time because we were new and I had 10 minutes and this format's just better now. So I'm going to talk about Erika and Benjamin BJ Sifrit. These two are often referred to as the thrill killers, and with good reason, as you'll see. This is a really well-known case. So, you know, you've probably heard the story before, but if not, yay. This takes place in 2002 in Fairfax, Virginia. Not just, that's kind of like where they lived. This actually takes place in Ocean City. But anyway, first I'm going to go back in time and talk about each of these two idiots individually. Erika Elaine Grace, she was born in Pennsylvania in 1978. She grew up with a good amount of money. She grew up with good parents. She went to good schools. She excelled academically. She excelled in sports. She was a star basketball player all through high school. She then went to Mary Washington College in Virginia, where she continued to excel, graduating, how do you say it? Cum laude. And also
cum laude.
Cum laude. I don't like to say cum. I just don't.
Where's the cum loud? No, it's cum loud.
It's not cum loud. It's cum laude. I swear to God.
Cum laude?
Listen, if it was cum loud, I would fucking know it.
God damn it, Cindy.
Anyway, she graduated
Hold on.
way. You're going to look it up, aren't you? Make Google pronounce it, or like Siri or something.
Cum laude.
Cum laude. That's what I said. I said
Of course it's
first.
cum, not cum. God
yes, cum loud.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I would tell you to delete that, but I know you won't.
Oh God, no, I'm not. All right. So she graduated with honors and also maintained her maintained her status on the basketball team. After college, she did not pursue a career in sports despite being a very good basketball player because apparently she was too short for pro ball. And this is going to age like me big time. Not everybody can be Spud Webb. If y'all don't know what that is, feel free to Google. Anyway, it seems like that didn't matter since she excelled academically as well. Because you thought, you think, okay, well, she's not doing, basketball, but she can still do something academic. She can, go to law school, which is actually what she was considering, which is interesting because my last Natural Born Killers case, she was going to go to law school as well. So there's like another fucking parallel, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. While she's in Fairfax, Virginia, going to school, she meets Ben Sifrit, who was the same age as Erika and grew up in the area of Fairfax. I don't know that he ever went to college, but I know he wasn't at the time going to college because he was already in the Navy. And not just that, but he was training to be a Navy SEAL. And I don't know if you know what training to be a Navy SEAL entails.
Intense shit.
Like more than I could ever explain. I talked to a guy at a judo barbecue that had been training to be a SEAL, but he like ripped all of the tendons inside of his wrist.
Ew.
And rather than tell anybody, he just continued on in his training.
Oh my God.
For like months until somebody stepped on him and it gave it away that he was like injured. Ooh. So that's the level of like intensity. These guys are like sleeping 3 hours a night and like carrying, 100-pound backpacks, 200-pound. Like it's just, I can't even begin. It
sounds horrible.
It's fucking insane. I feel like to do this, there has to be a little bit going on because at least the guy that I spoke to, he was like living in his car at the time and was just interesting.
Well, maybe he was fine before this fucking experience and then it ruined his brain.
I don't know. I don't want to get too far into it or like call the guy out, but it takes a certain kind of person. And let's just
leave it. I'm just saying what comes first though. Maybe this experience also fucks people up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely definitely could. So anyway, he's training for this when they meet, which is either 1998 or 1999. I read both. But basically, their relationship brought out the worst in both of them. There's a lot of back and forth as to who did what or who caused what, but here's what I've pieced together. So basically, after they meet, they become inseparable instantly. They both start acting out in really bad ways. BJ here got a swastika tattoo on his chest, which the Navy was like not super excited about, obviously.
Yeah, no.
It's like dead and it's just like, hello, I am a Nazi. So just fuck this guy no matter what.
Apparently it's like a controversial opinion in America today, but like just in case people are upset by this, we actually did fight a war against Nazis.
Yeah, we were like not into them. Then again, NATO. So anyway. So BJ has this stupid fucking tattoo, which the Navy's not stoked on. Erika, for her part, wasn't doing a whole lot post-college. She was super needy with BJ. She was always like trying to like be with him. He would go out for like these trainings because they'd go out and like sleep in the fucking, wilderness and like camp and whatever. And she would get like super needy. She'd call him incessantly. And this was back before like having a cell phone was a thing. And also obviously he wouldn't have it. So every time she called, she's like calling his unit. And so everybody knows, like, dude, this chick's calling you like 15 times a day. She's distracting you. Like, you're not doing what you need to do. She'd start saying, like, I'm having a panic attack. You need to come home. I need you here. At one point, she went and tried to stay with him on base and got caught. And both of them ended up getting sent home for the weekend. So it's like this very intense, bad situation. And Erika's very weird, very controlling. BJ's also doing really stupid shit. And eventually he ends up getting a dishonorable discharge, which is like a fairly big deal. Like that's not like it can make it hard to get jobs. Like, it can really fuck up your future.
And they don't give them out lightly. Like, you can do a lot of shit and they do not want to give those out.
Yeah. So it's, very serious. And considering that he went from like becoming a SEAL to being dishonorably discharged, like that's a huge drop. So that's indicative of like their behavior once they get together. Shortly after his discharge, they moved back to Erika's hometown of Altoona, Pennsylvania, where her rich father paid for her to open a scrapbooking business in town.
Okay.
Because he's got money. BJ, I think, helped at the store, and this is basically what they did, which is kind of a sad, turn of events because they both had a lot of potential, but they're obviously both terrible people. So on the other side, fuck it, who cares? So these two get married when they're 20. Now they're 24, living this sort of boring fucking life in bumfuck Pennsylvania. No offense to bumfuck Pennsylvania. Like, I lived in bumfuck California, so I get it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, they didn't have a lot going on.
Right.
They did get super into the movie Natural Born Killers, probably because they fantasized about, like, doing anything besides just wasting away in their town. And they decided that these characters in Mallory and Mickey were super cool because they're idiots. And that's just all there is to it. So they started doing weird shit like getting snakes and naming them things like Hitler, HIV.
Oh.
And then, of course, Bonnie and Clyde, which I'm surprised it wasn't Mallory and Mickey, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, that would have been more appropriate. These poor snakes. The snake didn't ask to be named Hitler. That's rude.
I know, right? And HIV, that's like the dumbest fucking name ever. That's like,
it's not even catchy. You can't even say that.
No. Yeah. So Erika then also got a snake tattoo, just like the one Mallory has, like on her fucking hip. So they're just, going off the rails here, being the worst. In 2002, the couple, who I think were just really bored, again, like I said, they decided to take a vacation to Ocean City, Maryland. Now, prior to this, they'd started some really weird habits, including collecting guns, as well as Erika becoming weirdly obsessed with Hooters merchandise.
So they're so douchey.
They are, right? They're the worst.
Also, I have to ask you, sorry, I'm dying. What year are we in? Can you remind me?
Yeah, we're in 2002, I believe. Yeah, 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say, knowing that they're like people with no personalities of their own that just like media and merchandise and movies and they're pathetic and douchey.
Yes.
And the fact that they love the Natural Born Killers, I've discovered something that I think is an airtight argument.
What?
The movie American History X came out in 1998.
Oh, that's the swastika tattoo.
That is the exact same placement of the swastika tattoo from Edward Norton in that movie. Can I tell
you that I thought about that? I was like, it's just like American History X. So these guys are just fucking idiots all the way around. They're
just ripping off movies and pieces of shit. Yeah, because it came up side by side, a picture of this guy, fucking asshole Benjamin Sifrit, with his fucking swastika tattoo, and right below it
is the Ed Norton one.
He even has an armband tattoo that is like the same as or similar to Edward Norton's armband
from American History X.
Yeah.
Which, like, also, you're a fucking idiot, because in the end of that movie, like, the whole point of that movie is like anti-Nazi and like anti-hate, and he like changes his tune.
He becomes not a Nazi. And
also, that's a great fucking movie. Really hard to watch. Also, Edward Norton, holy fucking shit. If you could just like erase the fucking swastika off his chest and just keep the rest.
You remember we had a friend in college who got a picture of him from that movie and then photoshopped the swastika out and put a smiley face on it.
Oh my God. My friend Amanda, her friend did it with a fucking Star of David all over it, which is so good.
That is so good.
Oh my God.
I just want to point out that he's ripping off American History X.
Yeah, and doing it poorly because he obviously is too stupid to understand the point of the movie.
The point of the movie.
Last episode, we already talked about how, like, Natural Born Killers, the point of it is much less obvious. It's a lot more like kind of glorifying violence, but American History X, there's like no ambiguity there. So what the fuck, guy?
Yeah, it's anti-Nazi.
So dumb. Okay, so anyway, so they're going on vacation. She's obsessed with Hooters merchandise. They have these guns, and they take at least one gun on their vacation. I think actually more than one, which is kind of why I mentioned these weird habits, but also the Hooters thing will come up again. So I guess they would go to different Hooters, which, they're all the fucking same. It's like a Hard Rock. Like, oh, I got one that says Las Vegas on it. Oh, I got one that says Tokyo. Like, dude, come on. They're the fucking exact same thing.
And what a thing for anyone to like, but I guess especially a woman who's, I don't know. It's just.
She wants to be edgy. The whole thing is stupid. She's an idiot.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. So anyway, they go to this town. They go out to party. It's late May. The weather's good. They're getting on a bus, and they want to go to this club called Secrets. It's SEA, Secrets, because they're by the sea.
Oh, God.
Love a good pun. And they don't have exact change to get on the bus. So this other couple sees them, and the guy, Joshua Ford, offers to pay their fare. He's like, let me help you get on the bus. Joshua and his girlfriend, Martha, who went by Jeannie, were also on vacation and had come from Fairfax, Virginia. So these two were 19 years apart in age. Jeannie was the older woman, which, like, get it. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And they were super in love. They're this happy, perfect couple. One of them, I think, works, I forget exactly what they did, like insurance, I think. And then Joshua works in insurance and Jeannie was a realtor. So they're like really fucking like perfectly matched. They're like super stoked on each other. He's 32, she's 51. They're just having a great time.
Yeah.
They'd lived together for about a year. Like I said, their families said it was like a match made in heaven. They were just like perfect. So they were on the bus with yet another couple. And these three couples started hanging out with BJ and Erika, offering to buy Joshua and Jeannie their first drink at Secrets to thank them for getting them on the bus. Apparently, according to this other couple that was there that night, Erika was flirting with both of them, like this third couple, and offered the man drugs while BJ just kind of like watched her. Mm-hmm. The woman, whose name I didn't write down, asked BJ, like, how does that make you feel to see her like flirting with like my friend and like offering him drugs? And he was like, I don't know. I can't really control her. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure at what point the other couple like kind of peeled away, but they seemed to not love the vibe of BJ and Erika.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, it ends up being Erika, BJ, Joshua, and Jeannie. And Erika and BJ are like, why don't you come back to our condo that we're renting and like drink some more and we'll hang out. And Joshua and Jeannie are like, yeah, this is great. It's a couple new friends. Like, this is our, vacation friends. Like, why not? Rory's sister went on vacation to Mexico and ended up meeting a couple there that she invited to her wedding. So, I mean, it's not... Okay. Unheard of for this to happen, right?
I mean, I personally, meeting random people in strange places who I don't know sounds like hellish to me.
Oh, my friend and I went camping in Santa Cruz just randomly and like met this like couple and went like skinny dipping with them and camped overnight with them. Like, yeah, I know. That's
how you get serial killed, dude.
I know. It was only, I'm actually surprised we didn't die that night, but I think
I'm not friendly. I'm sorry. Like if I'm out and like on vacation or I'm out somewhere in the world, I'm not friendly. Like don't talk to me.
I was bummed because I actually thought they were really cool, but my friend that I was with at the time, who I don't talk to anymore, was so fucking annoying that the next day they were just like, we got to go by. Like, we're not interested in hanging out with you guys anymore. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so they're all hanging out and all of a sudden they're at the condo and Erika starts screaming that her purse is missing with her grandmother's $10,000 ring inside. Now, spoiler alert, it's not missing. These two are making this shit up. Playing out some weird murder fantasy thing, and they pretend that the purse is missing, and Erika's like screaming. I don't know how much of this BJ at the moment knew, like in that moment. I don't know how much he knew, if he actually thought the purse was missing or what. Either way, he flies into a rage. He pulls out a .357, this fucking gun, and starts threatening to kill the couple. And I should mention that he's wasted at this point. So Erika actually, during this whole thing, calls 911 and starts screaming that this couple stole her purse, but she hangs up before they can trace the call or get any information. So this is just her doing this weird fantasy.
Just an act. Yeah, she doesn't actually want to pursue that. Like,
No. She just wants to like make it seem real.
Yeah.
Joshua and Jeannie are fucking terrified and they end up running into the bathroom to hide because things are now just at this crazy... Erika's screaming and BJ's waving a gun around and like
Jesus.
It's just like this big fucking thing. So they're hiding in this bathroom, cowering. Jeannie's like cowering under the sink. And Erika goes out onto the balcony because she can see through the bathroom window into where the couple is.
Yeah.
BJ's on the other side of the door pointing the gun, and she starts coaching him on where to point the gun and when to pull the trigger. And when it's pointed right at Joshua, she tells him to pull the trigger, and he does.
She's like, a little to the left, to the left,
exactly.
sweetie.
Exactly. And like laughing and like loving it.
Jesus.
And he shoots Joshua 4 times. Now, Josh falls down dead, and Jeannie is now left in this bathroom by herself, cowering under the sink with her boyfriend's dead body. Which, like, what the fuck?
Horror.
At this point, it gets so much worse. At this point, BJ kicks the door down and shoots Joshua 2 more times just to make sure. And then Erika comes in with a knife and stabs Martha to death.
Oh, God, all slow and drawn out. And...
brutal. Yeah, what the fuck, right? I also wanted to point out that this couple was still in the condo. So, like, where the fuck would the purse have even gone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This could not be more bullshit, right?
No, they didn't really even care about that.
No, it wasn't about this. The two then decide to dismember the bodies, cutting both their heads off in the bathtub. They then put them in trash bags and dump them in a grocery store dumpster in Delaware, which I guess is within like driving distance of Ocean City. So before they dumped them, they robbed them, obviously, because of course they did. And Erika took a ring from Martha and put it on from Josh and put it on a chain and wore it around her neck. So she is stealing their cards. She's stealing their IDs. She's collecting like she does with scrapbooking, right? It's like she wants to have like trophies. Because
can you imagine if she made like a little murder scrapbook page?
She probably would have if she had the chance. Like, I don't doubt for a
cutting
minute.
out decorative papers. She's got like a hair and a blood splatter.
Like a bloody knife and shit. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Also, I remembered the ring thing, and I'm like, okay, well, never mind. I almost spoiled your thing.
There's like photos of her wearing it. Like, it's fucking insane. Like,
didn't they go on vacation?
They're on vacation. Yeah, they're on this vacation. That's where they kill these people, when they're on vacation. And then like the next day, they just go out and party. That's how you ushered me into it again.
Yeah, there's this picture where they think they're really cool, and they have these very early 2000s like little wraparound douchey ass sunglasses.
Yes, those sunglasses are horrible.
And like, and she's wearing the ring around her neck.
Around her neck, loving every minute of it.
Wow.
Just to jump ahead a little bit, when they are caught with the ring, there's still dried blood on it. So she's walking around with this guy's like dried blood on the ring around her neck, which obviously she doesn't give a shit about, right? So they continue partying. They're there like another fucking week. And on the night of May 31st, again, they're on drugs, and they decide, it's our last night in town or whatever. Let's break into a Hooters. They we want merch. We don't want to wait. We're just going to go break in. So police were alerted to the break-in when the store's silent alarm went off, and they show up and they find BJ and Erika loading merchandise into the back of their Jeep Cherokee, just like openly, just like grabbing boxes of shit and trying to steal it. They start questioning the couple, and Erika starts to have a panic attack and asks them to get her anxiety meds out of her purse because she's like got like prescriptions for like Xanax and shit.
Yeah.
This was very stupid of her because she had Jeannie's ID, Josh's ID, their fucking credit cards. She also had 5 spent rounds from the 357 in the purse with these people's IDs.
All her murder scrapbook materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got this like wrapped up for the cops and basically just hands it over to them.
She was going to take that spent casing and like put a decorative tape over it and like
and like put it in the book.
Put it in the book. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how fucking twisted these people are. Beyond that, the cops also found 3 different guns on the couple, which was enough to get both of them arrested. They also found the knives that they later determined were used to dismember Josh and Jeannie. They were carrying them around in their pockets. They each had one in their pocket. Even though, like, the cops didn't know at the time that's what they were, but, they bagged them and put them in evidence and later found out that's what they were. A big part of why the cops were so careful with this stuff is that, like, 2 days or so prior, Jeannie and Josh had both been reported missing after not returning home from their vacation. Their friends and family both noticed they were missing, and everybody called the police. So there were, like, multiple reports of them being missing. Erika and BJ were taken into the police station that night. They were arrested and questioned. And while in custody, Erika just confessed. Like,
okay,
yeah, we did this, but immediately put it on BJ. She was like, I'm afraid of him. I'm being forced to do these things. I should mention that while in the days after they murdered this couple, she got another tattoo right in one of the places, like on her like thigh or somewhere, where she had stabbed Jeannie, as like a commemoration of like a permanent reminder of where she had stabbed this poor woman in her frenzied like murder of her.
Oh my God. Also, hey lady, were you forced to wear this dead person's ring around your neck and like be like peace and with like your beer in a fucking vacation picture?
Right. Like, how scared are you really of him when you're like partying? Like, you know, and like again, anybody who knew the couple knew that she was like kind of the manipulative one and kind of the controlling one. Not that I'm excusing this motherfucker at all, but I'm just saying, like, she's like throwing him under the bus, and it's like
they were definitely collaborators here. For sure.
Yeah. But she's trying to get ahead of it right off the bat. BJ wasn't as quick to talk, but once he figured out what Erika was saying about him, he threw her right back under the bus, right? Because he's like, fuck this. So these lovebirds flipped on each other like the night they were fucking caught. They didn't even wait. It was just like immediately like, I don't fucking love this guy. I have no loyalty. I don't fucking care. So Erika gave the story that the couple had stolen her purse, which is why BJ had flown into a rage. Meanwhile, the police are searching the couple's room and found a ton more evidence, including bullets, blood in the bathtub, garbage bags. And then again, after testing the knives, they realized exactly what they were, you know, used for. And they were found on their bodies. So these two are just going fucking crazy. At one point after being, before being arrested, Erika said to one of the cops, quote, "Just shoot me." And then something about how she would have shot herself if she knew she was going to be caught and taken away from her husband, which is hilarious considering how quickly she turned on him.
Yeah, okay.
She even offered to show the police the location of the bodies in return for a deal, which they did take her up on, but only if she could also pass a lie detector test. So they're like, show us the bodies, admit what you did, and then take a lie detector test. And as long as you prove what you said about not being present, about it all being BJ is true, we'll give you that deal. Can you guess how she did on the lie detector test?
Really good. She aced it?
No. She fucking super failed.
Okay.
And so, you know, all this shit about he abused her. You know, she claimed that at one point he made her get pregnant, even though she said she didn't want kids. Then once she was 4 months pregnant, he again made her get an abortion, saying if she didn't get one, he would, quote, dig it out of her. Which is like the grossest fucking way. Yeah, isn't that disgusting?
Really gross. Okay.
Really fucking gross. He then said that, you know, he was just testing her loyalty. Or she said that he said, you know, I'm just testing your loyalty. I want to see what you're willing to do. So this was part of a larger defense strategy saying that she was abused and scared and that BJ was the sole murderer and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She claimed that she had nothing to do with the murders, but obviously this didn't fly because just a few weeks after the two were arrested, 2 other people came forward saying that they had also been attacked by the couple in Ocean City on May 28th. So 3 days after the murder of Josh and Jeannie, and 3 days before they got caught. So basically right in the middle of their trip, they attacked another couple. So this was Melissa Sealing. She came forward and said that she and a male friend had met Erika and BJ at a club and had been invited to go back to their condo with them. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after arriving, Erika started screaming that her purse was missing, along with a $10,000 ring that her grandmother had given her.
Wow, same script, copy paste.
Same script. Suddenly, BJ has his gun out and was in Melissa's face, threatening her. Melissa just started looking for the purse, not arguing, not making excuses, just looking. Now, I've heard conflicting, you know, reports as to why she and her friend survived. I heard one that they let the two go because they were checking out of the condo soon and didn't want to have to clean it up. Like they were already having to replace the bathroom door because there were bullet holes in it and they didn't want to have to do more. But that doesn't really make sense to me because they were obviously there for like days after that.
Yeah.
So, and they had obviously not finished cleaning and repairing from the first murder. So it feels to me like that isn't really that good of an excuse. The other thing that I heard is that they let them go because Melissa didn't put up an argument. The two of them were just like, we're really sorry. Let's help you find it. They weren't defensive at all.
Okay.
I think that they kind of like decided not to kill them because of the way they handled it. That's actually what Melissa herself said.
Okay.
She also said that after she was looking, BJ suddenly found the purse behind a pillow she had already moved. So she knew it was like a fucked up game, you know?
Yeah.
She and her friend had escaped the condo shortly thereafter and only came forward after hearing about the murders because they were just like, that's a weird night. We're just going to leave it alone, right?
Yeah.
He also said that at one point, BJ had pointed out the door and was like, see that bullet hole? Another couple came in here and tried to rip us off and we fucking murdered them. So like admitting to her what they did,
Okay.
you know, and Erika was right there during that admission.
So they really think they're like super cool, natural born killer bullshit, you know?
Yeah. And they also think that they're going to be able to like, you know, blame each other and get away with it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, you know, obviously they're both admitting to these people just thinking what they're not going to come forward. So BJ takes the same path in trying to blame Erika for the murders. He said he was asleep outside in his truck when she murdered the couple by herself, which I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous. There's no way she did that.
Absolutely not. No.
Josh was like 6'2" and like a judo master. So it's like, come on.
And you're asleep in the car when you have like a whole ass like apartment? Like,
right. Like, why are you asleep in the car? The whole thing is stupid.
Yeah.
His defense attorneys were trying to use the fact that the gun used to murder Josh was found on Erika, but it's like it was days later. It's not like the gun's fucking glued to her. Like, come on.
Right. They were sharing their guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his defense did do something right because his painting of Erika as a controlling evil woman worked to the point where he was only found guilty of second-degree murder in the killing of Jeannie and was not found guilty for killing Joshua at all.
What?
Yes. He got second-degree murder only for Jeannie.
That's dumb. Okay.
Yes. Erika did not fare quite as well and was found guilty of first-degree murder for Joshua, second-degree for Jeannie, and was given life plus 20 years, but with the possibility of parole.
Okay.
BJ was given 38 years with the possibility of parole.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So BJ divorced Erika in 2010, 7 years after they both went to prison, which is weird because obviously from the moment they were arrested, they were not like trying to be together. There was no like proclamation of love, you know?
Maybe they just didn't want to do the paperwork.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're going to get remarried? I mean, maybe they would, but you know.
People do in prison.
No, they do. They do.
Yeah.
BJ was denied parole in 2020, which was the first year he was eligible. And again, just this last year in 2022.
Okay.
Erika will be eligible for parole the first time in 2024. So next year, which is fucking wild. I'll be interested to see how this goes, but she is a white woman with money, much like my last case. And if you all remember, that woman ended up doing 11 years. So, you know, she's already done a lot more, but for whatever reason, she was painted much more in a much worse light than the other woman, you know, probably because she doesn't have a senator for an uncle. So
interesting.
Yeah. So whatever happened, BJ somehow got out of a lot of it. And Erika certainly did not, but they're both potentially going to be out. Like BJ will absolutely,
that's crazy,
unless he dies early of something that like cancer or something. BJ, if he serves his full sentence,
we'll be out.
Like he'll be 70, but like,
I mean, this is honestly like, these are scary fucking people. Like
they're fucking terrifying. Like,
I mean, I don't say that lightly of like, sometimes it's like, oh, they were abused. They had a bad childhood. It's like, what with these people, I'm like, this is, I would actually say it's scary to have them out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for either one of them to be out because they're both obviously they're serial killers. They want to kill people for fun.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking.
They seem like they enjoyed it.
This was what they wanted to do on their vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's so fucked up. Yeah. So that's that story. In a lot more depth than the first time I did it. I hope that was entertaining for everyone.
A lot of weird sentencing this week across the board.
Yeah, seriously. It's really normally at the end of every, you know, episode or every topic or case is like, and they got life without parole. And they got life without parole. Like we hand life without parole out like candy. So it's like weird when it's not that. Yeah. And also, it would be refreshing if I agreed with the times that they chose the lighter sentences. But...
Right. Yeah. It's always like, oh, the most severe, insane serial killer. That's the light sentence? Okay.
Yeah. Like, the fuck? Right. Yeah. Multiple murders getting out is like so weird when other people get life without parole for like a single killing.
Or for like being present when a murder took place, which drives me crazy.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. And I have to pick for next week, right?
Yes.
What am I doing? Like Murderers on Death Row? San Quentin?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's Murderers of Death Row on Death Row?
In San Quentin, California Death Row.
Yeah, California. So I'm doing Murderers of California Death Row. If y'all can't tell, this is a diva list because Cindy's brain didn't work this week. Diva was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. Help me. So
I was like, here's the list I want to do.
Yeah, so this is one that Diva wanted to pick, but we've actually talked about doing this many, many times and it just keeps getting skipped over. So now we're doing it and it's going to be interesting. The interesting thing about California Death Row is like, unless we get like a gnarly Republican governor, which I really don't think is going to happen anytime soon.
They're never being executed.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like governors aren't governor long enough to be able to like reinstate it and then start killing people. So
no,
it's going to, the death row in California is symbolic, which is really frustrating because it costs so much more money to have. Like our tax dollars are going to keeping people in like on death row. It's like, we're not going to kill them. Can we just officially get rid of fucking the death penalty and stop paying for it? Like,
we're paying a lot of money to threaten people with death.
Yeah, and the voters of California have voted to like keep the death penalty around, and it's like the same people who vote for that are the people who are like, no more taxes, and I'm like, listen,
yeah,
I don't know how to tell you this.
Yeah, but it is interesting. I always like find this fascinating that these people are roommates.
Yeah, some of the it's going to be interesting to
all live in the same place.
Yeah. So. All right, that's next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting, liking, rating, reviewing, following us on Instagram, all that good stuff. Join us on Patreon. We love you. There's extra content in there, and we'll keep it going. So
yeah, I got more coming.
Yes, and of course the murder map. So check it out. And thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. And until next week,
stay
off our list. Album.